And this is Humble Folks by Flatland Cavalry. Hey, so I'm going to go over the intro, verse, and the chorus. We're capo 6th fret, standard tuning. The chords we're going to use are a G major, C add 9, E minor, D. Those are the main ones. We'll also throw in a C major in the chorus. And then we'll also throw in a G over F sharp, which if you're at a G, you just leave your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E string, which is a G note, in open tuning, and then use a finger to do the 2nd fret of the low E string, which is an F sharp in open tuning, so G over F sharp. And those are all the chords. Mostly we're going to use the G, C add 9, E minor, D. For the intro, we're going to start with G major. We're going to do 3rd fret of the low E string, and then 2nd fret of the A string. And you're going to kind of let off with your index finger on the A string after plucking it, so that it cuts off the sound. Because right after that, you're going to pick A string again, open, and then hammer onto the 2nd fret. And then after that hammer on, you're going to go to open G string. So that's all in the G chord. You're then going to switch to the C add 9, and you're going to pick open. You're going to lift your index finger off of the D string and pick open, and then hammer onto the 2nd fret, and then go back to the G string. So you'll notice I didn't move my middle finger there to go to the full C add 9 chord, because you don't play that that note. So just for simplicity in the intro, I just move my index finger, because that's all you really play. Just to kind of anchor my hand, make sure I know where my fingers are. Makes it a little easier. If you'd like to move your whole fingers, feel free, go right ahead, but it just helps me kind of know where my fingers are if I just leave my middle finger there. And then we're gonna, so we go G, C add 9, G, C add 9, G. So you're gonna go to C add 9 twice. You're gonna start with G, and you're gonna end with G. So C add 9, G, C add 9, G, and then you're going to go E minor, D. So for this first part, you're going to low E string, A string, hammer onto the A string, G string, hammer onto the D string, G string, hammer onto the A string, G string, hammer onto the D string, G string, hammer onto the A string, G string. So you're just kind of going back and forth for that whole first part. Just kind of practice going back and forth, because it can be kind of tricky, especially when you start trying to speed up picking that kind of going back and forth thing. So just kind of slow down if you need to until you get used to that, and then kind of speed it up, because the song goes fairly quickly actually through that. I like to go down on the hammer-on and then up on the G string. Helps me move a little faster. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You see that? You don't even have to use a pick for this. You can just use your finger, in which case you probably wouldn't go down and up, just down. But I'm using a pick, so I go down, up, and it helps kind of flow a little easier, you know. But after that, after you go back to the G for the 3rd time, you're going to go E minor, and then D. And so what we're doing there is bass note, strum, and then D, bass note, strum. And I would try to focus your strum on kind of the lower strings of the D chord, not the higher ones, just because it in the song it kind of sounds like it doesn't sound very high, so it makes more sense to just kind of do the D string, G string, maybe B string. So the intro sounds like this. The second time through the intro, it's the same thing. But then you go straight to the G, and you do the same bass note, strum, and then you go back to G, and then just strum. So the second half sounds like this. Then you pause, and then after that, you go. And basically that's just kind of filler. There's no chord, just like you don't need to have any fingers fretted. I would just go open A string, D string, G string, and then I would go kind of, which is open G string. So you go open G string, open B string, kind of quickly, and then open G string, open D string, open G string. So that's kind of just like ad-libbing. It sounds like kind of what they do in the song, but it's just kind of filler to be in there. So I would just like kind of start that slow and then work on getting a little faster, or omit it if you don't feel comfortable with it or just don't think it sounds good. It's up to you. So that's the intro. So then it gets in. There's actually another little part of the intro. It's more like instrumental, where there's like other instruments coming in, steel guitar, drums, all that. So then I like to get into more of a strumming version of the same thing. So for that intro, we were going G major, C add 9, G, C add 9, G, E, D. So instead of just doing the little picking like we were doing on the second time around and then throughout the verses, I just kind of do a more strumming version where I go bass on the G, start with the G, bass note, strum. In the intro we just went bass note, A string. So for here I'm going to go bass note, strum, and then you go A string, open, A string, hammer on, second fret, and then I'm going to strum. And since before we went hammer on, G string, I'm going to go hammer on and then focus my strum on the higher strings, starting probably with the G string. You don't have to hit it perfect every time, but it just kind of sounds better if you go with the high strings. So then you switch to C at 9, and for this I actually do switch my whole hand to C at 9 just in case I hit more strings than I intended to if I'm going too fast, and it still sounds like a C at 9 rather than nothing like that. So switch to C at 9, and you go D string, strum, and then you just keep going back and forth. A pretty common thing is, like for a lot of songs, is to go bass note, strum, but for this one we're going hammer on to the second lowest string. You're not doing the bass note, so it's kind of weird to get used to, especially like you think about you're moving your hand from G to C, you want to hit the A string, but you're really doing the D string. So, and then you're the same amount of time, so G, G, C at 9, G, C at 9, G, and then E minor. And that I really do the same as the intro, where you go bass note, strum, bass note, strum. So the second part of the intro and the verse is all going to be the same, sounds like this. And if you hear, I'm kind of coming up on the high strings after I strum, so really I'm kind of going pluck, strum, up, so like down, up. That's kind of optional, but yeah, so I'm going pluck, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, that kind of thing. So try that out, see how you like it. Just leave it out if you don't like it. Sounds fine with just going down also. So you do the same thing as the intro, where the second time around you go down, D, pluck, down, G, just a strum, right? And then you do the same little filler. So the intro, the first little picking part of the intro and the normal intro into the verse, it'll sound like this. That gets us into the verse, which is sitting on the front porch picking and singing. Well, hey brother, would you look at us now? And that gets us into the chorus. So for the chorus, we're going to use E minor, D, G, G over F sharp, and then we're going to do that twice, back to E minor, D, G, G over F sharp. Third time through, we're going to go E minor, D, C major, G, and then the last time through, E minor, D, straight to G. I'll go through that in more depth, but just as an overview, that's kind of what we're doing. Before I start on the strumming patterns, I wouldn't fixate on this. This is just what I do. Do whatever sounds good to you. You could just strum straight through, just like down, 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 and it would still sound like the song because it's the right chords. So don't worry about it too much. This is just what I do. What I do is start with E minor, down, 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 up, E, D, same thing, down, 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 up, and then I go to G, down, down, up, G over F sharp, focusing on that low E string because it's kind of a walk down. If you think about it, you go from G to G over F sharp to E minor, where the bass note is that open E. So that's why we're going to focus the G over F sharp on that low E string. What would be an F sharp if it was open? Second fret there. So down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, back to E minor. So and then we're going to go back and do the same thing again. So this time through it's going to be E minor, D, C major, G. So we're going to go same thing. This time it's same thing, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 down. More simple that time. E minor and D are the same, but then you go to C major, and just go down, 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 down on G. And that's that measure. And then you go E minor, D, G, so straight to G, and down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And then you just finish on the G, just, you know, kind of do whatever there, just strum. So the whole chorus sounds like this. Then you get kind of an instrumental part No solo or anything. You just do the verse, the same thing you're doing in the verse for that, and then the next verse will be the same. So that fits over the instrumental parts, and then verses, of course, and then the next chorus is the same as this chorus. The only last thing to note is the second verse. At the end, he goes, "Oh, everything I have to the humble folks, gonna give it all back to the humble folks." And really, that's just playing the end of the verse twice. So C add 9, G, D, G, and then immediately back to C add 9. Going back to the humble folks. Right. That's the only other variation. Other than that, everything's the same. Good luck learning it. Yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks.